Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Honor the Land on the Big Play Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. Max Loeb, Chef Zay, Jack O'Rourke. It is draft week, guys. How are you feeling?
I'm ready to get this BS over with, and I've got double shot of espresso flowing through my veins. Shout out Sabrina Carpenter. Listen.
Shout out Sabrina.
You don't need that much espresso in your coffee, Jack. Don't ever do this to my stomach again. I'm ready to bounce off a wall.
It's gonna be a long post show for the fellas.
I drained the seal just before the show, and I've got to go again. So that's where we're at.
I like it, though. We need it this week. I said it yesterday in the morning. It's the worst week of all time to be a coffee just because of how much is going on. Obviously, it's the draft stuff. It's voluntary workouts, I believe, for the Browns.
3 days.
But it's also the NBA playoffs, and I want to talk about the Cavs, who are coming off another win against the Toronto Raptors, up 2-0 in the series at the time we were watching this, traveling back to Toronto to hopefully sweep them, hopefully not come back to Cleveland and put the series in jeopardy. But the Cavs look very good, and last night Evan Mobley showed that he means business in the playoffs. What did you guys make of the game last night?
Yeah, I was going to say my first thing was honestly Dean Wade on the defensive end of the ball was like the biggest thing to take away. Like Brandon Ingram had, was it 0 at halftime, I think? Ended up with like maybe 12 points in total. I think he had like 9 in the third quarter. That's the difference maker for the Cavs right there, because when you're like taking away shots from BI and you're making guys like Scotty Barnes have to shoot the ball more than he wants to. Obviously, Scotty still had a strong night. Like you really I don't know, you're taking away a lot from that ball club. And when you're looking at the other side of the ball, like that's the best we've looked in forever, I think, offensively, right? Like if you're getting Harden and Donovan both hitting those crazy shots, like how many times last night was it like, oh, this possession's dead. There's 4 seconds on the shot clock. Like there's nothing going on here. Get back on D, and Donovan just shimmy shake, boom, whatever direction it's going in. Like they have the ceiling is so high with this team. It really is.
It really is. And shout out to Scotty Barnes, playoff career high. The Raptors tweeted out after the loss. I don't think the fans liked that very much. It was the final graphic. I think the tweet just was final, that quote. And then shortly after, Scotty Barnes playoff career high, which is great. Like I'm not trying to hate on Scotty Barnes. I love Scotty Barnes, but at some point you got to read the room here. But James Harden 28 points, Donovan Mitchell 30 points, I believe, on the dot. Evan Mobley 25. I mean, the stars are coming out. They're looking like they should. Jack, you talked about the ceiling. Zay, I know you've talked about the ceiling as well. Everything looks like it's supposed to right now, and then on that side of the bracket, you have the Orlando Magic currently up 1-0 on the Detroit Pistons. Again, it's one game. You don't want to freak out too much, but I don't know. Is there a world the Cavs have to host the next series against Orlando and not be on the road, potentially?
I talked about this on my live stream yesterday. You would hate to be a team going against the Magic in the first round for a lot of reasons. You talk about when Donovan Mitchell was traded to the Cavs for that first year or two, when they went through those growing pains, is what they call it, right? The Orlando Magic have been battle-tested with the group that they've had with Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter, Paolo, and whoever else has been, the Wagner brothers. Like, they've been battle-tested these past few years, and you've seen what they've done against us, and you've seen how they play in that first round. You don't want to see a team like that who has been through the mud as many times as the Magic have been. So there's definitely a chance that we could play against them, and I know if we do see the Magic in round 2, dare I say that it may be a more daunting task just because of the familiarity that we've had with them, the sour taste that's probably in their mouth from being bounced out in them. So it's going to be interesting no matter who that we get from, whether it be the Pistons or the Magic. But in terms of the game last night, the Cavs just look like the superior team. It feels like when you watch the Boston Celtics play certain teams, you're looking at them and you're just like, these guys are leagues above them. I'm getting that feeling with the Cavaliers team, with the players that they have. So the sky is the limit for this team. I can sit here with confidence and say that I truly feel like this team can win a championship.
Yeah, I believe it too, and I think the path to get there definitely helps. I do think it's also worth noting that those 5 through 8 teams, even really the 5 through 9 walking into the playoffs, there was so little that differentiated them in the standings. Like the Orlando Magic walked into the 82nd game against the Boston Celtics with a chance to just avoid the play-in and be the 6th seed. Now they're the 8th seed because they lost their first play-in game. The Sixers won it. They play the Celtics. The Magic, to me, are not an 8th seed. The Magic, to me, could be the 5th best team in the Eastern Conference, and I don't think that's crazy to say. Across the NBA, though, I think it is worth noting the Atlanta Hawks take one from the New York Knicks, and the Cavs avoid that potential first-round matchup, it's pretty important.
Well, I was just going to say about the Magic is last year they were dead last in the NBA, like literally 30 of 30 in three-point shooting, and that was the one thing they went out and addressed by getting Desmond Bane. Like, obviously it didn't look great at points throughout the year, and they were banged up, but that's a team who I think you're so right. It's like, that's not an 8 seed at all. Like, that's not like when LeBron was here, like, oh, you just have to go beat Andre Drummond by himself 4 times. Like, that ain't that difficult. That's a good Magic team.
Yeah, it is a very good Magic team. And now looking forward, Game 3, 8 p.m. on Thursday night when the Browns are probably going to be on the clock at 6. Terrible timing. And then I believe it's Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. But
1 p.m.
It's Thursday at 8 p.m. The timing is brutal. It stinks. But I said the Browns are on the clock. I'm not convinced they will be. Did you have something, Cavs?
I was gonna say, like, if you trade back though, it might be during halftime.
That's what I was gonna say.
oh, my bad.
No, I was gonna say I don't know if they're on the clock during the first half.
It might not
This
be.
is one of the games where you almost it kind of sucks that it is during the draft time, because if you watch the game yesterday, there was a stretch where you're watching it and you could feel the defensive intensity from the Raptors was at the highest level that you could put it at in the second quarter. And they traded the blows in that third quarter to keep it tough. You're going to get a team in Toronto. You're going to get their best punch. If they're going to steal a game from the Cavs, it's going to come in Game 3. You've seen it, the way that they were playing, the energy that R.J. Barrett was showing and Scotty Barnes was showing. You're getting major contributions from the backup point guard and Shed when Emmanuel quickly hasn't played neither one of the first 2 games, which is a huge difference maker. I'm sure he'll probably be back for Game 3. So Game 3 could be a game where we're looking at where the Cavs are going to have to not only take the blows, but they're going to have to continue to exchange them and keep their foot on their necks, because the Raptors could get one the way that they played in that second quarter if they continue that over into Game 3.
Yeah, and I think when you look back at last year's first-round series with the Heat, it was never in doubt when the games were in Cleveland, and then even bigger statements were made in Miami, right? I don't think you can compare that team last year to this year's team. Obviously, battle-tested. The roster is very different, all that good stuff. But it is important to note that the Cavs made big statements in Games 3 and Games 4, and then wrapped up the series, obviously lost to Indiana the next round, but I don't think anybody was beating Indiana with how hot they were. Dare I say maybe they beat the Thunder in Game 7. That's not a hypothetical we're going to get into, though. But Thursday night, Game 3, Cavs at Raptors. Sunday, 1 p.m., Game 4. But Thursday night, there's a more important, arguably, thing going on. It's the Cleveland Browns picking 6th overall and 24th overall right now in the NFL draft. I'm just going to start by asking you guys, yes or no, very simply, do you think the Browns pick at 6?
No.
Yes or no?
Yes.
I don't. Okay.
You know why I say yes, though? Because I'm just thinking back to last year. I'm thinking back to last year and how we were so convinced, how every report pointed to this, every report pointed to that. Andrew Berry, I think, has a fetish for making you look one way and doing the completely opposite. I think he gets giddy for these moments. You see him when he talks about the draft and how he goes from this to like he perks up when he gets here. And I think he's just sitting here looking like, you mother lovers don't know what I'm about to hit you with. And I don't know what the surprise is going to be. I've gone through it. We've sat here and gone through every scenario possible. What could be the surprise at 6 that no one has talked about? Because no one had Mason Graham at 5. No one had Carson Schlesinger in the second pick. What's the surprise that we haven't touched yet
for the Browns?
For the Browns,
does there have to be a surprise though?
Yes.
I kind of think if you're Andrew Berry, you know you're in a position where, hey, look, let's say they insert any receiver at 6, right? Let's say they take Cardinal Tate. Maybe he doesn't have a great rookie year, right? At number 6, you're probably done. You know, like that might be it to get you fired. I think you have to trade back just off of the getting more lottery tickets and, hey, I'm having a chance to get 3 starters now in the first round. Like, look at what he did in the first 2 rounds last year. Like, I think you almost just got to hedge on your own future kind of and be like, okay, if I can get 2 or 3 good starters here, I'm safe for another year.
I think he kind of did that last year with the Jacksonville trade too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I think that was part of it. And obviously, Jimmy Haslam even said it, like a big reason he's there now is because of last year's draft and Andre Smith. But I think the surprise could be if they stick at 6, they pick Caleb Downs. I think that would be the surprise. I don't, again, think he's a needs-based pick, but it's never been about need for Andrew Berry. It's never been about need for the Cleveland Browns under Jimmy Haslam. It's about the best player on the board. And in this year's draft, where there is a lack of blue chip talent from what multiple people have said. Honestly, there's a lack of quarterback talent as well. It's just going to come down to the best player available. I think a surprising thing, if they stick at 6, would be to pick Caleb Downs. I don't think he'll be there. I think he's going off the board the pick before.
What's the Ronnie Hickman situation right now?
I want to say
Drafted
he's
free
got,
agent, 2 more years, right?
Yeah, I want to say he's got 2 more years.
Okay.
But it's the other thing is Grant Delpit, who again I don't know. Like, I'm not 100% convinced Grant Delpit's going to be on the roster this time next year, right?
Ooh,
There's a
that's fair.
contract extension looming. A potential trade could happen. I've talked about that, but you can't really speculate about that because you think about, oh, the Browns have to lose this many games. This has to happen. But contract extension is looming. Again, I don't think they're drafting anybody to fill a need right now. I think they're just taking the best players available. Would be shocked if they don't take a receiver early. But again, we said that last season they very clearly needed the wide receiver position, and they did not even draft one. They did not draft one. So I think there's some merit to saying there could be a surprise. I think there's some merit to saying who's the defensive player the Browns take with one of their first couple picks, even though the defense is great. I just don't think – I think if they get an offer at 6, I think they move down. I think kind of like what you said, Jack, they hedge for their future a little bit. But I also think there's a world where Dallas wants to get up there to take Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs if they're there, and they're willing to part ways with 12 and 20. Like that, if I'm Andrew Berry, I have to take that.
Yeah.
Here's the surprise for you. You ready for it?
Uh-oh.
It's trade back, right? So you trade back from 6. Let's just go the Dallas route, right? You go to 12. And let's just say Tyson makes it to 12.
Mm-hmm.
They go KC.
Casey Concepcion.
At 12 instead, right?
I have him going there at 20. Go to the Browns at 20.
So they take him there at 12. And then 24th pick, everyone wants him to go offensive tackle. They go defensive player, safety, whatever guy falls, someone that has a top 15 projection, they take him there. And then they go whatever the tackles fall with that. Would that be a surprise? Would that ruffle feathers in Cleveland?
No, I don't think so. I think
if Tyson was on the board, they go KC over Tyson.
Oh, I see. I mean, there's legitimate question about Jordan Tyson's durability.
Sure.
I think if it's Casey Concepcion over Tyson and Mekhi Lemon, that's a different discussion. But
if both are there,
I'd be shocked if it wasn't Mekhi Lemon. I think I'm at the point now where I look at Mekhi Lemon as a big slot who can just provide so many different things for your offense. Again, I don't think he's there if the Browns trade down and get to 12, but he is the motion guy who can buy eyes. He can win one-on-one. He's incredibly smart. He's incredibly deceptive.
Good after the catch.
That, to me, is the tip of the spear in your offense next to Harold Finn and Jr.
You know,
I want the outside guy just like everybody else. I think they're going to get Denzel Boston, but shrinking it between the hashes – I like Isaiah Bond. Is he the big physical slot guy the Browns want in their offense? Probably not. Like, he's the guy who can take the top off. I think Mekhi Lemon would add a different variation of what the Browns already have at a higher level, to be honest.
Is Lemon the guy that we like when you talk about every single year, it's like, damn, they took the first receiver off the board, but it was a second or third guy going off that was really the guy that was the best receiver in the draft. Is Lemon the guy that could be the best guy in this draft? Like, as much as we're hyping up Carnell Tate, as much as we're hyping up Tyson and Boston and these guys, Lemon was up at that top for like the beginning of the draft process, and it seems as if ever since that workout video of him came out, like the Lemon train just kind of slowly evaporated. Is he gonna be the guy that when you look back this time next year, and be like, damn, Lemon was the guy all along and we passed on him?
I think it depends on where he goes, but it's really interesting looking at the teams that really need, again, it's not a needs-based draft, but looking at the teams where Mekhi Lemon would fit really well, who need that slot guy who throw to the slot at a really high rate, it's the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes.
God, please no.
It's the Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels.
Oh, boy.
It's potentially the Giants with Jackson Dart. And it's the Los Angeles Rams with Matthew Stafford. Like, those are teams that would plug Mekhi Lemon right away. And sure, he could, let's say he has 1,100 yards his first season, and then Carnell Tate gets drafted to the Browns, who frankly don't have the offensive infrastructure right now. He has 900 yards. People are going to say Lemon's better than Tate, when in reality it has a lot to do with the scheme, the quarterback. I think Mekhi Lemon's going to be a plug-and-play day one starter, so yes, he could be, maybe, the guy that we look at a year from now and saying that's the best receiver of that draft class, but you got to give it some time.
Like, I'm getting Emeka Egbuka first week 5 vibes. Like, the first 5 weeks, Emeka Egbuka was unconscious, right? This past year, that's what I'm looking at, because everyone it was like, damn, Emeka Egbuka was the best in the draft, and that's what I'm feeling like. But damn, could you imagine Lemon, Puka, Adams?
Yeah,
goodness, great with Kyron Williams in the backfield. With Matthew Stafford throwing the ball, with Sean McVay calling offense.
Yep,
give him the Super Bowl.
I was going to ask you guys quickly a little bit more back on the offensive tackle side of the sphere, but it relates back to the receivers. Because, Zay, you talked a little bit about maybe taking 2 receivers, or especially if you take Caleb maybe at 6, and it's like, okay, you're in this weird position. Is there any world that they wait until day 2 to go tackle in the first place? Like one name I think I've seen Zach Jackson put out a couple times for the Browns is Markel Bell, who is the left tackle for Miami. He's like massive. I want to say he's like even taller than DeJuan Jones.
He's the mullet guy, right?
Yeah, what?
He's the mullet guy?
Yeah, and I think he's only played like a year. He played like a year and a half starting at the Power 5 level, so he's more of like a project type of guy. Could you see them like putting him with DeJuan Jones and hoping something works out, and then going 2 receivers if they go with like a Caleb route?
I think the timeline for that fits really well because I think the Browns ultimately are going to want to get something out of DeJuan Jones this year. Like they're going to try to get something out of DeJuan Jones and see what happens after that. In my mock, I talked about it last week. It didn't really change much. I do have them taking 2 receivers, assuming they trade down. I think it's the outside guy and Denzel Boston at the end of the first, and then it's an inside guy. I have Casey Concepcion, but Omar Cooper Jr. is a good guy. There's a couple other guys that you could throw around like a Chris Bell, but I think 2 receivers is a real thing. But at the same time, it comes down to best player available. Again, it's always been about best player available for Andrew Berry. Who needed the Browns didn't need a defensive tackle last year. Like there were plenty of really good players on the board. Tedero McMillan was still on the board. Like
would have been nice to have him.
Yeah. Really. It's never been about need. It's always been about best player available. So it's going to be ultimately who the Browns deem to be the best available. But I think, again, they're comfortable if an offer comes across Andrew Berry's desk in moving down and taking 3 swings in the first round at best player available instead of 2 and an early second.
I mean, there's definitely a world where they don't go offensive tackle in the first round. And I point back to the Andrew Berry press conferences. I go back to the Todd Monken press conferences. They've said it out of their mouths that the depth at the offensive line position is I don't even remember what the word was, but they really like the depth at the offensive line position. So in their mind, they've already got a pool of players, I feel like, that they have a value of that's like, you know what, we could definitely do that. Yeah. I think now in terms of what do they do with those first 2 picks, I think it could go 1 receiver, 1 defensive guy, just for the simple fact that, like, you know, when you overhaul certain positions, like you're getting a new coach who's an offensive guy and you're getting a new defensive coordinator, chances are you're probably going to give them something that can fit the scheme that they want to run. So I could see them going offense with 1 pick and defense on one side to kind of like, I don't want to say set the mold, but to aid in what they want to do in their rebuild of the offense and the defense. So I definitely think there's a world. I'm not going to go, as much as I want to go 2 receivers with the first 2 picks, I think it's unlikely. I would say safety, corner, and receiver with the first 2 picks.
Okay. I think offensive tackle, I get the depth conversation. I get
that's
that.
If we don't, I'm sorry, that's if we don't go tackle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think, again, it's going to come down to what the Browns do with their picks. Andrew Berry's going to be working the phones. He's going to try to trade down, I'm sure. I don't think there's really a world they trade up from 6. I think there is a world they trade up from 24 if there's somebody on the board they really like. It's going to be a draft that nobody can truly predict, but I think if the Browns are on the clock at 6, they're not trading down, it's got to be, let's say 1 of 4 guys, right? If Carnell Tate's there, I think there's a real possibility. I think if Caleb Downs there, there's a real possibility.
So he said it.
I think if Francis Mauinoga, the tackle, is there, they're going to think about it. I think he's a very, very good player. And I think that if he's on the board, he can step in, potentially slide to the left side or move people around. Titus Howard on the other side. Those are the 3 guys. And then I really do think, I don't think he's going to be there at 6, but I really do think it's worth a conversation for Jeremiah Love if he's there.
Bingo. That's where I was going. I watched back that Andrew Berry presser. And you know me, I study people's body language. That's what I do. I like to look at it. I like to see how they feeling. I like to see how they say things. I get this weird feeling that every time Andrew Berry was talking about Jeremiah Love, it felt like he was trying to not say too much.
Contain the excitement a little bit?
Because I think he truly wants Jeremiah Love. I think I think he's on board with wanting Jeremiah Love for the fact that the words and the phrase that he used is what you want to do at pick 6 is maximize your asset. There are a couple different ways that you can maximize your asset. And for the people that want Carnell Tate, I'm sorry, that's not part of maximizing your asset at 6 for what he's saying. When you maximize your asset, it's either trading back or are you killing 2 birds with 1 stone. with Jeremiah Love. Shout out to my boy John Jackal Raw over there. He said man lined up in the slot more than any other body and could basically be a slot receiver. And if you could tell Andrew Berry that you can get a guy who won't need to take Q out of the backfield and who can line up in the backfield with Q and line up in the slot, that seems like a perfect maximize of your asset if Jeremiah Love is there. I think they truly low-key won Jeremiah
Well, I was
Love.
going to say, too, Max is like, and if you would have thought it would take any more talking for me to want Jeremiah Love at number
really,
6,
yeah.
believe it or not, somehow. When you talked about last week, I didn't even think about how much the Ravens really did utilize multiple running backs
yeah.
and like just like how important that was. And like, also, I mean, Jeremiah Love's never been in a backfield where he wasn't splitting carries with another elite back. So like, it's something he's used to. And look, I mean, Notre Dame's offense was pretty dang good last year, and they had no receivers and 2 running backs. So I don't know.
Fellas, if I can jump in here as the voice of God, isn't there a possibility though that the Cowboys don't trade up with the Cleveland Browns at 6 and they trade up to 4 with the Titans to get Jeremiah Love?
Yes.
I think nobody is talking about that.
I talked about it with Tyler Algier. Don't do that.
I stand
to me.
corrected.
Which
I
it
stand
would be
corrected.
fine though. I mean,
On this program.
low
Yes, I
key
think
though, like
it was.
low key that might not be bad though. You know.
So, Pat, you're 100% right. I think Jerry is going to make a trade and he's going to make a big swing. I think it's going to be for Sonny Styles. I really do. But Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs could be those guys. And I just go back to what the Falcons did with Bijan Robinson. Like, Tyler Algier was going to be a second-year running back. He was on his rookie contract. He rushed for 1,000 yards. Tyler Algier was supposed to be the next big thing. And the Atlanta Falcons sitting there, I think it was pick 7, have Bijan Robinson on the board. Multiple needs on the defensive side of the ball, questions at the quarterback position, and you're just like, let's just take him.
Yeah, but is Tyler Algier like it? Was he this? Like, I feel like him and Q weren't the same type of player, though.
I don't know.
Maybe
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and say I watched a lot of Falcons game. I know Tyler definitely made noise because you're looking up like, damn, why does this man have 14 carries when Bijan is? You know what I'm saying? So there's obviously something there, but I feel like it's a different type of comparison because Q showed a different type of flash, I guess.
I don't know about different type of flash.
Algier was
I think
gross his rookie
No,
year.
he was.
Everyone
He
loved
was.
that
Different
guy.
comparison because
He was.
it's a different comparison because he's a second-round pick, not a fifth-round pick. It's an
Yeah.
asset thing, right?
That's probably what it
Barry
is.
also
That's
talks
probably
about
what it
that.
is.
I think there's a real world the Cowboys leapfrog and get Jeremiah Love even before the Giants because I think the Giants could take him too. But let's say the board goes Fernando Mendoza, Arvell Reese. I mean, I think Arizona's going to try to trade down. There's smoke about them taking Jeremiah Love potentially too, but I think they trade down. I think Kansas City gets up, but somebody gets up, takes David Bailey. And then at 4 and 5, let's just say some way it's a combination of Love and Downs, regardless of who trades up. Who are
Okay.
you picking at 6? Are you trying to move down?
I was just gonna say, I just gotta know, maybe this. Is there a surprise world where maybe the Browns try to get the Cardinals pick and move and then go back to where are they at?
Why would you move? Who are you moving up for, though?
Yeah.
It would-
Cardinals have 34. That's their next
I mean,
pick.
if you like Love, or if you like, this is what we don't know. We don't know what, like, if position of need isn't a thing to you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? What would it take to go from 6 to 3 to prevent? You know what I mean?
It would probably be the 24-34 swap. Like the Browns have 24, Cardinals have 34. Would you feel comfortable jumping up 3 spots in the first round and moving back 10, moving out of the first round to the second round?
No, hell no.
I don't like that. No.
No, I don't at all. That
Another
would
thing
piss a lot of people
with
off.
first round picks is fifth-year options too. Like those are big things in terms of contract negotiations
Guaranteed
down
money.
the line. So I think it's worth the question, because it, like I said, is going to be best player available. It is not about need. It is not going to be, we're 6. Yeah, we think these 3 players are better than Carnell Tate, but we really need a receiver, so we're going to take Tate. No, like, it's best player available. What if the Jets do take David Bailey and the Browns love Arvell Reese and he's there at 3? What if they do? Like, it's absolutely worth the discussion. That's why I refuse to rule out Caleb Downs at 6.
Is there a world Arvell Reese can slip past 3, 4?
I don't think so.
So let me ask you
maybe.
guys this. I'm kind of thinking this is maybe like a preemptive. If you make the Cowboys trade, you're back at 12. Who is the name you guys think that people? Because I mean, you've heard it 1,000 times now. It's a great top 15s. People have to fall out of the top 10. Who is the guy who might fall to 15 or 20 that people are going to be like, whoa? How is that guy still on the board?
It's going to be one of the tackles, one of the linemen.
Maybe. I don't know. I would have said Jermod McCoy, but there's now rumors about him falling out of the first round completely because of his knee. So I'm not even going to.
He missed all of last year, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
I think Jordan Tyson just throws a wrench in
Yeah.
Like his stock has skyrocketed in the past few days.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, I mean, everything that I saw, he was projected 20s, right? Now
Yeah.
they're talking as high as the Giants to 10.
There was a tweet yesterday. I want to say it may have been, I don't remember who it was, but somebody said Jordan Tyson is more likely to be the first receiver off the board than the third receiver off the board.
Wow.
If Carnell Tate could fall, lottery is you trade back to 12. Jeremiah Love goes off, Caleb Downs goes off. Giants somehow just are like, you know what? We don't really want to mess with Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
Is there a world Carnell Tate could fall
No.
to 12?
He's not. I don't think he's falling past New Orleans at 8.
What if? Who I'm trying to think. Is there any other trade? Because there's how many teams with two first round picks this year? I feel like there's gonna be a lot of trades this draft.
There are going to be a lot of trades. It's 6. It's Giants, Jets, Chiefs. It's Browns, Cowboys, and then who's the last one that I'm forgetting? There's 6. I have it. But I also do want to ask you guys, because we didn't talk about this. It happened over the weekend. Division rival Cincinnati Bengals trading the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence. Now, I truly don't see a ton of win-win trades. That phrase is kind of it doesn't make a ton of sense.
Hardin Garland.
Hardin Garland is a win-win trade. I agree.
But I do look at that trade, and I think it made a ton of sense for the Bengals, and it made a lot of sense for the Giants given the financial situation. What do you guys make of the Bengals going all in on the other side of the ball now?
I would say I don't have a ton about it, but the biggest thing is I think there was might have been last night or Sunday. It came out like Burrow really wants to win this year.
Yeah.
Like this year is going to decide his future a lot. That's when it's like, you know, the classic GM phrase, like Duke Tobin, you don't want to trade for draft picks you're not going to make. Like sometimes you just have to say screw the draft and go out there and get one of the best defensive tackles in football. You know?
Yeah. Hey.
Listen, they had to do something,
Yeah.
right? I laughed at it because when you see 1 year extension in Bengals, it brings back a lot of funny memories with Trey Hendrickson, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, all the people that are making the big bucks. They always are finding a way to just make the headline look funny. But when you think about the window, how many times have I talked about the thing ready to crumble with Chase and Burrow, and it's only a matter of time before they went up out of there. Your defense was the big reason why you couldn't win games over these past few years when you're putting up 27 points per game. So, listen, it's definitely a win for the Bengals. You got to find a way to keep Joe Burrow happy because I'm telling you now, you miss the playoffs this year or you get bounced in the first round of the playoffs this year and it looks ugly, there's going to be some real uncomfortable conversations on the horizon down there in Kentucky in about a year and a half.
Where's he go?
Definitely.
Who?
Burrow, year and a half from now.
He wants to retire. Looking at
You think he's out? You just think he's pulling a luck?
I don't think he'll retire, but he did throw that out there. He's like, if he's not having fun playing football, he'd much rather retire. He did say that.
Just train for the Olympics.
But I think he would go. Honestly, Joe Burrow can go anywhere. Any team that's willing to cater to Joe and give him what he asks for without playing hardball, he's gonna make a contender.
Minnesota
would be nasty. And a Burrow in a dome
With Jay Jettis.
with Justin Jefferson.
With Jay
in a
Jettis.
dome.
Yeah.
Oh goodness gracious!
I'm just trying to think of timelines. Like, let's say at this time next year, he's upset and wants out. Minnesota's not going to have an answer really, unless Kyler balls out and
What's
they're
his
like, let's
contract,
extend
right?
him.
What?
Who?
Burrow, is this his last? He's got 1 year.
He's got more than 1 year, I think. But I'm just trying to think timeline wise where it would make sense. Whose prime you could maximize at the receiver position. I don't know. I think Minnesota would make sense.
Let's say,
He'd love
okay,
to work with Kevin
let me ask you
McConnell.
this. Let's say you take Carnell at 6, right?
Yep.
And somewhere along the
2029.
line, 24 gets moved out. I don't know, maybe a second is with it or something, and you end up accumulating another 2027 first.
Mhm.
Let's say you don't have a great year this year, which means you probably don't find an answer at quarterback. I'm not saying they would ever do it or it would
Yeah.
ever happen in division. Could you even possibly get enough ammo in the world to make a trade in division with the Bengals? Probably not,
For
right?
Joe
Like,
Burrow?
Yeah, how much would
No,
it take? Like
not for Joe
$1 billion
Burrow.
first-round picks?
Yeah, not for Joe Burrow. It might take a change in like ownership or general
Yeah,
managership.
ownership.
Like, it,
Team relocation.
I don't think that would happen, but I do think it's worth asking a question. Those 2027 firsts are prized possessions.
That's
at
what I
this
was saying
point.
with the Arch draft.
Yeah, so I don't know. I would be shocked if we saw a 2027 first moved in this year's draft because of that. I threw out some mock trades. Probably not going to happen now. Thinking about the value of it and thinking about the value of the Bengals just showed us what this draft is. They have a top 10 pick, and they're willing to just mortgage that straight up for Dexter Lawrence, who at his best is probably one of the 5 best defensive players in the NFL. But they're willing to mortgage that for a guy who had a down year, who's in a contract negotiation window where they got him for an extra year extension. It's not like they paid him down the line, and he's going to be 29. Like, this draft, to me, tells you all you need to know about moving up, moving down. Not a ton of blue chip talent. I'm sure there's going to be great players that come out of this draft, but not a ton of blue chip talent that teams are willing to mortgage a ton of assets for to move up and take. And those 27 first, I don't think are going anywhere.
I just think that the Bengals is. I get where you're coming from. I agree partially. I think it's more depth, more these guys you can plug in and they can start day one type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that with the Bengals in their situation, it's like I won't put a lot of stock into that just because. How many teams have a Joe Burrow, a Jamar Chase, and a T. Higgins on that side of the ball? It's like you
all
have
in a contract too.
Yeah, like you have to do something with the window of those players, and it's kind of like F them picks right now. Like if you're the Bengals right now, you have to F them picks because if you don't F them picks, you're hoping that you can hit the lottery with the guys you got now because if you don't, boy, I mean, how do you manage? Like, where do you go if you lose Burrow? Like, where does the rebuild start? Like, are you starting? Do you have to start actually entertaining trade conversations to accumulate assets to replenish this? What is this stretch of football that you have?
I was gonna say, also think of how mad that whole entire city got when Jesse Bates walked out the door, and then it happens to Trey. Like at a certain point, you have to, and like the defense has been the issue for what, a decade now. Like at a certain point, you got to stamp your foot down and just bring in someone who you know is going to be disgusting.
Yeah, I think a lot of it started when they moved on from Lou Anarumo too. That was really shocking to me.
Yeah,
like
Uncle Al isn't doing great out there.
Well,
my boy.
I do also think it's worth a conversation looking at the Bengals, and if let's just say this thing does blow up in a couple of years. Burrow's out, Dexter Lawrence, which again I'm going to talk about this in a separate video. I think Dexter Lawrence could wind up in the same position that he was with the Giants this past offseason, next offseason, because he only got 1 year extra on his contract. And now he's working with ownership that's been notoriously stingy when it comes to this stuff. But let's just say those pieces are out. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, one of them is frustrated. You have to look at that as a free agent, not a draft pick, a free agent, and say, why would I want to go play there? Like, I'm watching this thing not work for however long with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Dexter Lawrence, Trey Hendrickson, all these guys. And this ownership or the front office is not, willing to pay as much. Like, the Bengals, I think, are changing their ways, but had been stuck in their ways so much that it almost attached a stigma to wanting to sign with them or negotiating with them. We saw what happened with Trey Hendrickson. Like, it made no sense what they did with Trey Hendrickson, signing him for a year, not
JV
tagging
football.
him, letting him go, and he goes to a division rival. Yeah, I think there's absolutely worth the conversation for free agents in coming years. Do they want to play there? It's kind of the similar stigma to the Jets. Obviously, the Jets are willing to pay people, but the Jets are cursed, for lack of a better term, but they just can't seem to do anything right. And free agents know that. Like, guys who want to win really know that.
Winning cures all. I mean, the Browns are everything that you just explained. Why do people want to come to Cleveland?
It's true.
For the first time we ever, in my existence, I heard a player say, yeah, I wanted to take less money to come to Cleveland. That was after the 2023 season. Why? Because you just went 11-6.
Yeah.
You had a top 1 defense in the league. You were averaging 4 points a game, and you looked like you were about to do something. Teams were wanting to come. So winning cures all. I did want to throw this in real quick because I just saw this. Mary Kay says, Shador and Dylan are scheduled to talk after voluntary minicamp practice today around 2:20.
Good.
Get your timer set.
Yeah, really.
This is the first time we're going to be hearing from Dylan Gabriel since the position has turned over.
Really. Yeah.
However long ago that was. I don't know why that got me excited, but seeing Shador and Dylan Gabriel in the same sentence, scheduled to talk, that's low-key cinema. That's like must-watch TV, right?
Yeah.
Well, what if he puts the toes down and rips the performers entertainers line again?
What if they're sitting next to each other like Donovan Mitchell and James Harden? And they're
That'd
like
be
best
great.
bros. That would low-key be
Awesome.
chemistry up plus 10,000.
Yeah.
I
think that'd be a good old double bird to the media, too. I think that would be really funny, honestly.
I mean, because they are signing at the draft party at the Wolstein Center Thursday. The lineup is insane. All the rookies last year, and shout out to our friend of the show, Alex Wright, will be signing at the thing too. How do you, if you're Dylan Gabriel, how do you feel going to the draft party knowing that you're basically enemy number 1 along with your girlfriend in Cleveland?
Well, I think it's worth a question. I can't remember who the players were, but I vividly remember there's this picture, I think it was at the Combine or some media session where everybody is swarmed around one player.
Oh yeah, I remember what you're talking
And
about.
then there's somebody by themselves with like 2 or 3 reporters. Like that, if they were separate, they're going at separate
It was the Heisman.
times.
Yeah.
It was
The Heisman, Julian saying.
Julian saying that's exactly who it was. Yes. They're going at separate times, so like maybe that won't happen. But that is what I would venture to guess.
That's exactly where my head was. Have you guys seen Eastbound and Down before with
No.
Kenny Powers? There's like, so he's like this former baseball closer. He's like a bit of a jerk, and he retires and he's trying to like get his career back. So he goes down to the Mexican League, and they have like a public autograph signing, and it's like it's a bunch of Mexican guys on the team. Then he's like the one white guy. So like everyone else has like these like massive lines, and he's just sitting there, and there's literally no one in line. Like that might be how it is for Dylan.
It could be.
So I just came across this story, just a little tidbit to throw in here because it got my mouth to the bottom of the ground
Uh-oh.
in terms of the draft.
Before you say anything, I also do want to compare. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I think it was the Patriots documentary Dynasty. The same thing happened to Tom Brady at Michigan. I can't remember who the other Michigan quarterback was.
Oh, I remember you
Is it a
yeah, I
Grease?
remember that story.
Greasy?
I don't know, but it was literally Michigan had an autograph day on the field. All of these guys were flocked around the other quarterback, and Tom Brady had a couple guys. I think they said a couple of those people were like friends and family too. And one of the guys talking the documentary said like that was the birth of Tom Brady. I don't know if something's like that's gonna happen to Dylan Gabriel, but that
not
has
here.
the type
The
of
redemption
you know
tour.
the ability to put a fire in somebody.
He'll
But
go
go ahead.
down to Atlanta and resurrect his career. So in 2014, the Cleveland Browns spent more than $100,000 on a study to determine who the best quarterback in the draft was. The study determined that it was Teddy Bridgewater. The Browns ignored that and took Johnny Manziel.
Who else is in that draft? Does it say?
It doesn't say who
Oh.
else is in that draft. Oh,
You know who was in that class?
Derek
Logan
Carr,
Thomas as a
Derek Carr
quarterback,
was a
but
second
moved.
rounder,
tight
four-time
end.
Pro Bowler, and Jimmy Garoppolo, who led his team to the Super Bowl. Those
Jimmy
are the other
G.
two quarterbacks in the name.
Jimmy G contemplating retirement. I don't know if you guys saw that too.
Oh, really?
I don't know, we could put Jimmy G to Cleveland rumors to bed now.
Probably, yeah. Well, I think we after the offseason we probably could, but yeah, I do think it is worth a conversation about a different team in the AFC North with their quarterback situation too, because I don't know if you guys saw, Aaron Rodgers has not informed the Steelers of his decision. From what I heard about a month ago, it like that informing of the decision was going to come before the draft. So the Steelers were not in the same situation they were last year, where they're like, well, is Aaron Rodgers going to play? Because we know if he's going to play, he wants to play for us. I'm shocked, to be honest with you. I know everybody's like, oh, it's Aaron Rodgers. What do you expect? This is still a playoff team. This is a team that walked in to the playoffs last year playing decent football.
Mhm.
I shouldn't say shocked. I would have thought he actually would have,
Committed by now.
or at least gave him the information that, like, hey, I'm thinking about walking away. Like,
I mean, this is Aaron Rodgers' version. This is just an alter ego of Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this is typical protocol for Aaron Rodgers. He's gonna milk it. He's gonna do what he does. At the end of the day, it feels as if I really think that they may be waiting because there's little reports that Ty Simpson in Pittsburgh could be a thing.
yeah, and they got 12 picks. They can move up wherever they want to.
Maybe that's what he's waiting for. Maybe he doesn't want to have to deal with that. And like Will Howard was, like, you can deal with Will Howard, but if you get a Ty Simpson coming into that first round, Aaron Rodgers don't want to deal with that type of noise.
I think that's totally the play. That's exactly where he's at mentally. Like, I mean, you just look at his whole entire career path. Like, I obviously hated being behind Brett Favre and how Brett Favre
Jordan
kind of
Love.
treated him like poop. Yeah, he had Jordan Love later, but
Yeah.
I think it's either that side of the coin or it's the other, where like obviously it's well reported that he loved Mike Tomlin. Like, he was in tears in the locker room with Mike Tomlin. Aaron Rodgers has been known to be petty before. I don't think I'm crazy saying that at all. It could just be like, hey, I'm going to handcuff you as long as humanly possible and make you go about your draft plans not knowing who your quarterback is. And then I'm going to
Aaron,
retire
if you do
because
that.
you got rid of Mike Tomlin.
Or I think those are both very true and could be very real. Is there a world where this has been kept so close to the vest? The Steelers know Aaron Rodgers is coming back.
Oh.
But they're walking into the draft with the possibility of being like, yeah, well, we could take Ty Simpson to try to move teams around, to try to jump up and get players they want that other teams would be interested in. Like, is there a world, I guess, where Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starting quarterback? The Steelers know it, but nobody else knows it, and it's helping their draft plan. I think that's a possibility.
Yeah,
You know
4D
what it
chess.
is?
Yeah, for sure.
This has all the makeup. I know they traded for, or they didn't trade for a receiver this year. Where did Wicks go?
Yeah, they traded
Wait.
for Michael Pittman.
Oh, Pittman. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. I keep forgetting they got Pittman.
Yeah.
Like, this has all the makeup in the world where Steelers take a guy who's not, like, KC, what's his name? How you say his last name?
Concepcion.
Concepcion. This has the makeup for them taking a receiver in the first or second round, plugging him into the damn offense, and it working. That's what it feels like it is. Like, so maybe it's the smoke screen because they really want one of these receivers. They probably got their eyes on one of these receivers.
I think so. Yeah.
And it's just like, we plug him in. You give A-Rod, Pittman, DK, big ass Darnell Washington,
Mount Washington,
and Freiermuth,
like
Jalen Warren,
that's
Rico
low-key
Gallo.
an offensive powerhouse over there.
I don't want to sit here and prop the Steelers up more than we need to, but I still think that's the best team in the division.
Nah,
obviously quarterback is a big question. I still do think it is.
As much as I give the Bengals flack, they have all the if their defense was just 20, 17.
Yeah. How many years in a row have we said this though about them?
That's all you need.
And we say the inverse about the Browns.
Yeah, the Bengals low key should be the best team in the division.
They should be, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Burrow and that offense, they're putting up 30 points per game and losing.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
They're just a bad Big 12 team. Like their box scores, it's just 54-34, and you win the next week 34-28.
Yeah, I remember when they got 30 something hung on them by the Jets.
What's stopping the Browns from being the best team in the division? The Browns can be the best team in the division this year.
There's a lot more holes that need to be filled and steps that need to be made compared to all three teams. The other three teams, excuse me.
If the Browns went in, I give them one hole. If the Browns could fill one thing before the season started, and that's a receiver, it's predicated on one thing and one thing only. Is Shador or Deshaun going to move the needle?
Yeah.
If Deshaun or Shador comes in and let's just say averages 240 through the air, touchdown and a half a game, is that not a pencil in for 7 wins? And then you go from there, and then you go from there okay, here's 2 games you probably shouldn't have won that you did win, and here's a game that we're looking at 9 and 8, 10 and 7. That could be good enough to win a division.
That could be. That's a tough ask.
It's a tough ask. No, it is a tough ask because we're banking on a 5th round rookie, and we're banking on a guy who hasn't looked
really good health
since
too.
2020.
Yep.
But we've sat here and we. If they can just get, like we said with the Bengals, if their offense could be 20 or 17, if the Browns' offense could be 15 to 20 with this defense, I mean, any given Sunday is a real thing. You can wake up and win 2 games that you shouldn't have won, just like we lost games that we shouldn't have lost last year.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot more uncertainty and holes that need to be filled with the Browns compared to Baltimore, which I think is almost a complete roster. Yeah. Cincinnati, almost a complete roster. And Pittsburgh, I think if Aaron Rodgers plays, that is a complete roster.
Here's the one thing, though, that I'll say that gives us our favor. It's a small thing, but it's something that could lead to big. Think about the position that each team is in right now. How weird is it to actually sit here and say that the Browns probably have the least type of foundational crack issues throughout the teams? You've got a team in the Ravens who, listen, just hear me out. You have a team in the Ravens who Lamar Jackson's contract is looming over their head. They don't know what the hell's going on with that, right? And Derrick Henry is on the back 9 of his career. That's just about over. And they still have yet to find a way to get over the hump. That foundation has been cracking for the past couple of years because they can't get over the hump. It's a matter of time before water breaks through that. The Cincinnati Bengals, we just talked about how they're a year or 2 away from us talking about them having to trade all of their assets. And then how many times have I sat here week after week and said the Bengals are at the cliff, or the Steelers are at the cliff ready to jump off that thing. It's just a matter of them falling off. The Browns, sure, it's the ownership thing that we're talking about, but in terms of the players on the team, the foundational pieces that are surrounding, what are we sitting here that we're looking at that we're like, yeah, this is a major problem, or this is something that we should be looming over our head. If we trade Myles Garrett, sure, it sucks, but we're going to get 3 picks and a player probably.
You could say the same for trading Lamar or Joe Burrow then.
Yeah.
But I don't think the Ravens are going to end up getting screwed with Lamar. I don't think they get a trade for Lamar. I think that's how it's looking.
I would rather have a contract extension looming in uncertainty about my quarterback, who's one of the best players in the world, than have the Deshaun Shador quarterback battle.
Yeah.
I also think when you look at
the he ruins everything, doesn't he?
But even let's just say it's Shador. Let's say Shador's the guy. Watching half a season last year, I hope he works out. I think there's promising things. You can't say that that's a confident foundation right now.
Well, no, I'm talking about the problem, not just the whole surrounding situation of the teams. Like the Browns, for the first time, we're sitting here, we're not talking about some dumb, like we're talking about legitimate problem, like legitimate things that can be fixed in 1 year. These guys have been, how many years have we, the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, it's been 3-4 years consecutively of contract problems and players being unhappy and all of these things, like your best players being in a strife with ownership.
But we've talked about the fracture with Myles Garrett since the thing you brought up about the whole thing on the sideline with Baker. Like, it's very clear we've trade speculations about the best football player
every year,
annually. Every year.
Today, as it stands, do the Browns seem like there's fractional, like does it seem like there's leaks in the plan, or like,
yes,
I'm trying to think
a billion.
Yes. So what is it?
It's the Myles Garrett thing, number one. It's
Quarterback.
the reality that
as much as it is the Myles, if you trade Myles, you still are going to get a massive return on that.
Sure,
so
and that'd be awesome. But like the Browns would win what? If the Browns don't have Myles,
You're
Garrett
tanking.
this year,
Yeah, you're winning three games.
And maybe they
But
get
then that-
Arch. Like maybe they do get a quarterback.
But then
that
it's a new
also-
foundation. It's not this foundation.
Exactly.
True.
And
so it would be a demolition. It wouldn't even be.
Well, what I think it is, I think it's kind of in the middle of what you're saying. I think that we don't have the best foundation as of this exact moment in time. I think that could change. I think that we have the longest possible duration where that window could be open, because I think we're still trying to open the window in the first place.
Yeah.
But I think the current foundation here is going to last longer than the other three places, because I think they are more towards the end of the road, to your point.
I am not convinced, to be honest with you. Like Pittsburgh, to me, I'm with you. As much as I gassed up the roster, they're old. It takes a bad first half of the season for them to potentially move off of a guy or two, like a TJ. I don't think they trade TJ Watt, potentially Alex Highsmith, potentially a DK Metcalf. Like, I think Pittsburgh's close to that point. The Baltimore Ravens just signed Trey Hendrickson, are in their win-now window.
They're in the win-now window.
And they have a general manager who very clearly believes in the roster that's in place. That's the thing. Like, he very, very clearly believes they have
Their expectations are a little bit different than ours, too. That's why I'm like, if you're a Ravens fan, you can't just keep telling Ravens fans. Like, imagine us being Ravens fans and we're sitting here talking about, damn, we can't get out of it. We can't make it to the Super Bowl with 12 All-Pros, Lamar Jackson, this talent. Like, their problems are different than ours, and I think maybe it's the magnitude of the problems. Our magnitude is like a stage 1 earthquake compared to where if this thing goes off the rails, let's just say the Baltimore, like, remember how eerie it was last year when they started out. Obviously, Lamar was injured, but all of the conversations and reports that were looming around it, that felt like a tsunami that was attacking these dudes. And then you go and miss the playoffs after that. Like, there is a lot of pressure up on that wall right there in Baltimore to get some shit right.
I'm with you. I also think there's a legit argument to be made that the Ravens would get more for Lamar Jackson than the Browns would get for Myles Garrett. I think when you look at, obviously,
for sure,
they're two,
I think it depends on what team's more desperate.
I also think it depends on when this happens. Like, you look at the edge rusher market from this past free agency cycle, the guys who got big deals are, 1-year extensions like a Danielle Hunter, or it's Will Anderson, who's 24, 25 years old? Like, Myles Garrett is a superhuman athlete, but he's getting up there. That's the reality of it. And I absolutely think when he's healthy, he has the raw athletic ability to prove the ages and number crowd correct. But I think they could get more for Lamar. I think you get more for Burrow. Like, I think
about, so then you're talking about going back to the magnitude of that. Can you imagine how Ravens fans would feel? You telling them they're going to trade Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I think Browns fans would feel the same way.
It would.
We've seen it.
It would feel like Judgment Day in Baltimore.
But at the same time, like I would rather have. Let's say you're the Ravens, Browns, Bengals. If you're the Ravens or the Bengals, I would rather have that situation where if I have to trade my quarterback, I don't think either team will. If I have to trade my quarterback, there is no, like, you lose a certainty at that position. Sure, you do. You lose a certainty there. There's no guarantee these first-round picks are going to be great players, great quarterbacks, whatever. If you're the Browns and you trade Myles Garrett, you are already uncertain at quarterback. And then you just trade the best player on your team for what I think would be less than what you get for Burrow or Lamar. Foundationally, these teams are in a better spot than the Browns. Like, that's the reality of it right now. Maybe down the line, if things don't work out, and that's a big if things don't work out, that could be the case. And if things do work out in Cleveland, quarterback, whatever, I think you can make the argument for the Steelers. the Ravens and the Bengals have two of the 5 best quarterbacks on their roster and are extremely talented outside of them. Foundationally, they're fine.
We could just we can revisit this next year and see where it stands, because I think a lot of this is predicated on the results this year.
Yeah,
There's going to be a lot of panic if the Bengals go, heaven forbid, 8-9 miss the playoffs.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a lot of panic if it's week 7 and Ravens are somehow 2-5.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there'll be a lot of panic. Yes. Browns go 2-5.
Exactly.
Yeah, draft time. Like, it's
really.
not like I think I use the wording wrong. It's the magnitude of the situation. I think is not as bold or not as heavy as the Ravens and the Bengals.
The Ravens and the Bengals have more to lose.
Yeah, there we go. That's probably
I think that's
what I'm
the best
going
way
at.
to put it.
I can't wait till we're back here next year talking about Joe Burrow not being happy in Cincinnati,
really.
Lamar not getting to the Super Bowl. Is Aaron Rodgers going to come back, and are the Browns trading Miles?
All right,
write it down.
I'm with you.
We won't have those conversations if we win this year. Let's just say we go to the playoffs, make the second round. I don't think we'll hear Myles Garrett trade conversations.
Okay. I agree.
If you do that, for sure, no.
All right, we're going to finish up here with our mock draft predictions. Very briefly, first round, I can start. I said it a couple of times. I said it last episode. I think trade down is a possibility because I think one of Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs falls to 6. Cowboys get up. Browns get 12 and 20. I think at 12, the Browns do go tackle. Depends on who they like. Could be Caden Proctor. I think it's Monroe Freeling. 20 from Dallas would be Casey Concepcion. And again, I think there's a big run on defensive tackles in that late first round. I think somebody gets up with the Browns at 24. I think it's Houston because they've traded with him before. Houston moves up, take Caden McDonald. The Browns are down at 28, and I think they go Denzel Boston. I think it's 2 receivers in the first round and a tackle. Obviously, the Browns, I believe in the mock trade, would lose their second round pick in that process, but they'd be moving up a good amount, obviously from 30 whatever to 20 in the process. So I think it's a good haul for the Browns if they walk out of the first round with multiple receivers and a tackle project, but a tackle.
It's so hard to mess this draft up. Like,
I hope you're right.
We've given out so many scenarios. This tackle, this receiver. Like, literally at this point, I think, like, I'm trying to think back to recent Browns draft years where, as a whole, as a collective whole, especially with how fractured this fan base has been since 2022, this is the most together. I feel like it's like, I think a lot of Browns fans will be happy with Proctor or Freeling or Tyson or Tate or this guy. Yeah. Like, there's just so many things. Now, that's why I would just want to, who's the surprise? Because that's what we should be trying to figure out. Because that's what will piss Browns fans. There's got to be an angle where we can get pissed off, and I just can't seem to figure it out unless it's Ty.
It's quarterback. Quarterback is how they piss you off. Or whatever. It will be quarterback.
So what do you think at 6 and 24?
Give me. I think I'm gonna have to go with my gut, man. I think if Jeremiah Love falls at 6, as much as I've said last show, I said that he's the lottery ticket for them. I think Jeremiah Love is the pick at 6 if he's there. I do think they trade back. I just think that this is the one obvious one where Andrew Berry, don't try to be cute. Don't try to beat around it. Just trade back and get the assets. I think it's a trade back. And I think they'll go whatever receivers available, whether it's Tyson or Boston or who's the other guy, or Lemon, Tyson or Lemon at 12. And then I think they'll go... It depends on which offensive lineman goes, but I'm leaning towards what we talked about earlier in the show, and they go defensive player at 24, and then go offensive tackle at with the 3rd pick. So I think that's the route that I'll go.
Okay. All right, fastest mock draft of all time, 12, Mekhi Lemon.
So they're trading down.
Trading down, yeah. 12, Mekhi Lemon. 20, Caleb Lomu. You get the natural left tackle. And then at 24, Avion Terrell. Go get a corner because Denzel's getting older.
Might get traded too. Pat, you want in or no?
Nope.
All right.
Wow.
we appreciate you guys watching and listening. We will see you next time.
Here we go. Here we go.